Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today, if you don't mind, I would very much like to continue on with our journey, our discussions, our discoveries, and our explorations with respect to the recent releases made by the Criterion Collection during this year of 2022. And I'd like to focus our attention on a release that was made by Criterion at spine number 1159. It has been my great honor to speak about this set a little bit in some past videos, as well as each of the films that's included in this set and the supplements, etc. But now I'd like to conclude our discussions with an overall set of comments with regard to this set, which is once again at spine number 1159, and it is the Infernal Affairs Trilogy. So in past videos, I have spoken about each of the films that can be found in this 3-disc Blu-ray set. So if you are interested, you can check out some of those videos, and there will be links in the description box below. So we know that it has 3 discs, 1 film per disc. So Infernal Affairs, Infernal Affairs 2, and Infernal Affairs 3. Just a word about the presentation or packaging from Criterion, and also about the booklet to conclude our comments on this really fascinating and great set. So it comes in this digipack sort of cardboard box casing, which is having the outer shell, which goes like this, and you remove the inner shell, and it reveals the components inside and the like. And so we have the components plus the discs that are housed in this plastic casing mechanism, 1 disc on one side and then the 2 discs on this flat casing mechanism. And I don't think the surfaces touch each other here, so that's a nice little detail there. It's consistent with other types of release. And a word about the design. You see that the design motif has certain traits that can be found in this inner component, inner packaging. The outer packaging, of course, has this idea of the skyline or the rooftop and the open sky and the like, and it's reminiscent or reminding us of a very key scene in one of the films, in fact. So, and I like how this motif is carried on here as well, in terms of bright cloudless skies, sunshine and daylight, especially in this outer casing. But when we get a little bit deeper into the details of the release, we see that there are shadows and darkness, and maybe something of the outer level hiding something that is underneath, which is, I think, very much a thematic link to how these films operate, the Infernal Affairs trilogy film. So I think that's a really nice detail, as well as being a really beautiful visual motif as well. So I like that motif indeed. And indeed, too, I should mention that we have the booklet, and the booklet has that sense. This is the front, and this is the back. And so I like that way in which this the booklet too carries that sense of almost a duality to it, the brightness of the outer shell daylight versus what lies underneath. A little wrinkle to that perhaps reading of the packaging would be that the front cover is perhaps the sundown or the darkness, whereas the back cover is the brightness of the daylight. So maybe it's a little bit of twist on how I would otherwise read the outer casing shell versus the inner casing shell. But it's an interesting twist. I mean, after all, if one thing's for sure, Infernal Affairs films certainly have their twists. So perhaps this is Criterion's subtle way of saying we too will put twists in our packaging to respect and pay homage to Infernal Affairs and the twists that can be found there. So it's interesting. Maybe I'm reading a little bit too much into it, but who knows? Maybe not. Maybe not. But it's fun to do that. That's one of the great things about physical media as well. All these little details and that one can find. I should say too that I love too the discs. I've shown the discs in the video presentations for each of the films, but I like how the discs have also their own little ways in which they are dealing with day and maybe sundown or late dusk and then nighttime, etc. So it has that sense too of a way in which time traverses and how it really travels, and how there's also this sense of leveling or layering that is very much consistent with the overall thematic and character arcs of these films, the Infernal Affairs trilogy films. Just a note about the art: its art directors are credited to Sarah Habibi, Eric Skillman, designer Tori Huyn. So this is again a very great design, and again iconic too. It's great that this image is used for the front cover, I would say, because it can be said that this is one of the most celebrated images or moments in one of the films of the Infernal Affairs trilogy. So it's great that it's here in this way. It's real. This is such a cool moment in the film. So to have that at front center at the front cover, brilliant stuff. So that's about the packaging. I know some people really love the digipack. Not the plastic casing. I know other people prefer plastic casing over the digipack. So if you prefer digipacks, then this is your lucky day. If not, then that's the way it is, unless one might find Criterion releasing this in a plastic casing in the near future. But if that might be a worthy suggestion to make to Criterion, if you are if you feel like doing that. I know that Criterion does like to receive suggestions, but and as far as digipacks are concerned, I think this is really great presentation. I personally am a fan of digipacks, so it's nice to see it in this way. Really great stuff indeed. Just one point about the packaging, I should say, or the way it's presented to. The set is given the spine number of 1159. The films themselves are not given their own individual spine number. I think one thing that I could say that it would have been nice to have seen, I personally prefer to see the films given their own individual release. Sometimes you'll see many films in one set, and they'll be given their own little individual sleeve, and you can pull out and you can open the sleeve and maybe it'll have its own little booklet or something like that. We do see that for a number of previous box sets, but not for this. What that means, or what that could mean for other sets too, not always the case, but oftentimes it also means that you could have different spine numbers assigned to each of the films individually. Maybe it's a minor detail to many, and that's fine. That's totally fine. However you feel is your view, and it's a completely valid and legitimate one. For my money, I'm always happy to see films within a set given their own individual spine number. There's just something about having a spine number. That's one of the wonderful things, the wonderful details about Criterion Collection releases, is the spine number. And I know to have a spine number or to not have a spine number, that is the question. Or maybe it's not the question. Maybe it's an irrelevant question to some. And and perhaps it is in the long scheme of things. After all, a release is a release, spine number or not. So that is, I think, overall, that's where I'd like to find myself. But there's a little part of me, there's a little part of my heart that yearns perhaps to have seen Infernal Affairs given its own spine number, Infernal Affairs 2 given its own spine number, Infernal Affairs 3 given its own spine number. That could have been really cool indeed. But oh well, c'est la vie. But it's something that won't distract me or won't convince me that this is a disappointing release for me, because it's not. It's a very uplifting and a really great release for certain details that I've made. There are some reservations that I do have, and I've spoken about them in the previous videos on each of the films specifically, or the supplements, etc. So there are some reservations I do have. So if you want to check those out, what I've said, you can check out those previous videos. But overall, I'm very happy with this, and part of the reasons why I'm happy are not only you get these films in these restorations, transfers that I personally have. I'm overall quite pleased with. But also you get this wonderful presentation, wonderful packaging, and this attention given to these films, and they deserve all the attention that they can get because they are really, in many ways, types of groundbreaking works, landmark works in the context of Hong Kong cinema, in the context of 2000 cinema, going for 21st century cinema. Now, I've spoken a little bit about this booklet, this great booklet. I love the way in which we have the way that the title appears on this cover versus how the title appears on the back cover. That's great. Mo Gando. Now, again, please pardon me for my very poor pronunciation of Cantonese. I'm not a good speaker at all, and so please forgive me, but I am doing my very best. Mo Gando. And so we open it up and we see, I've mentioned it before, some write-ups on each of the films individually, but then following each of these individual write-ups on the films, we have a comprehensive essay. It begins here and it continues onward. So it begins on page 17, and it is called Double Bind by Justin Chang. And I love this. This is a comprehensive, detailed essay, and it says at the very start, I love this little disclaimer, or not disclaimer, but this little warning, as it were. This essay reveals plot details from all three Infernal Affairs films. Excuse me, let me read that again. This essay reveals plot details from all three Infernal Affairs films. So yes, this essay is written in a way that assumes that the reader will have seen all three films. And so please, I urge you to watch the films first. And then after you've seen all three films, you can read this brilliant essay, Double Bind by Justin Chang. This is a very detailed, complex essay that is so respectful of the complex nature of the Infernal Affairs trilogy overall in the films and their interconnectivity and the history and the socio-political context and the character development and the context of Hong Kong cinema and the filmmakers. It said, oh, what a great essay this is. So once again, please watch the films first. But then after you've seen all three films, please check out this great essay, Double Bind by Justin Chang. Definitely worth checking out. And also, I should say, too, that I've mentioned it before with other releases. I'm not a big fan of the fold-out insert, which is why I was thrilled when I saw this staple booklet for purposes of this Infernal Affairs trilogy release. I love this staple booklet because it has the ability of containing a very robust, say, presentation, a lot of writing, a lot of content, and that the Justin Chang essay is very robust indeed, as well as the write-ups on each of the three films and the pictures that are included. Very cool indeed. So wonderful job with this booklet overall as part of the packaging presentation from Criterion of this work, which is, again, the set comprehensively designated spine number 1159. This is, of course, the Infernal Affairs trilogy. All right, my dear friends, so that concludes our discussion run of this very fascinating set. And so thank you very much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure to see you here. And of course, there will be more videos between now and the year's end, and more Criterion Collection release videos as well. So if you're interested, please always feel free to stop by this channel at any time, my dear friends, at any time at all. But until the next one, please be happy and healthy and well. And please keep on watching a lot of great movies, including the films of the Infernal Affairs trilogy. So until the next one, my dear friends, stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.